So there's Chevy coming up from the lake. He has to get wet every time we go by the lake. And he got in a fight a while ago. When I mean, one of our neighbor's dogs came onto the property, and which dogs are just being dogs. That's what they do. They up here in the mountains, people don't keep their dogs on the leash. You can see I don't keep Chevy on the leash, and which is part of his freedom. And the neighbor's dog, but he has about 3 dogs. But there's one of his dogs that is feisty, is the best way I can say. And which, as you can see, Chevy's out there walking through the field. Look how much the grass has grown just this spring already. I mean, it's 10, 12 inches tall now. The grass is getting tall. I've got this beautiful dogwood here blooming behind me and the lake behind me. And but we were up there at the cabin, and I seen the neighbor's dog walking by the lake down here. He was walking this way, and Chevy seen him walking down by the lake, and Chevy, being the protector of his kingdom here, he decided, I'm going to go down there and check it out. Now, Chevy's a kind-hearted little dog that looks like he's a ferocious creature, but yet at the same time, he's not a fighter. Sometimes I wish he was, so he would protect himself better, but he doesn't. And the other dog is a fighter. The other dog gets in a confrontation every time he gets around. And I try to get Chevy not to go down there, but Chevy had to go down there and check out the other dog, right? And so Chevy has a cut right under his eye here from the other dog's tooth. And I'm trying to decide whether to take him to the vet and get stitches or just to let it heal. And it's not his first gouge cut by tooth by the same dog. Not going to make an issue with a neighbor. I think we've got great neighbors. It's not the neighbor's fault. It's just a dog's nature. All of them have different characteristics, different attitudes, different personalities. Chevy's way down there near the dock now, as you can see. You can see him way down there. And come here, Chev. Come here. Come here. I don't want you to go any further. Come here. Come on. Come here. I know you had a rough day. Come here. Come here. Come here. He's in those I want to walk moods. Here he comes. Come here. Come here. Come here to Daddy. Come on. So Chevy is, you've heard of dogs being a man's best friend. Chevy's definitely in that category with me. He's at that top of that list. He's amazing. Keeps me company. And I can tell you that I hope that he thinks that I'm his best friend as well. Hey, buddy. Hey there, big boy. So there Chevy is, just trying to be the boy. Show you this beautiful area where this dogwood is just absolutely popping. Look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that dogwood. It's one of the prettiest dogwoods. It was growing here 21 years ago when I bought the property, and I've saved it. I kept it from getting tortured. I didn't let it get destroyed. And so we've had a lot of wind damage this winter. There's going to be a lot of cleanup to do here on the farm, but it's going to be worth it. And it's going to look like a beautiful, beautiful, this is going to look like a golf course when I'm done with it right through here. And I try to share my life with all of you so you can kind of know what it's like to be here. And at the same time, I hope it causes you to have more of a hunger to be outdoors more and to be in nature more. God bless. And some of you may be experiencing allergies for the first time, and it's because, not necessarily because you've had allergies all your life, but because your tolerance levels, your thresholds are changing. And some of that may be because of the yeast levels in your diet. So I suggest getting away from breads that are made with yeast. Most all store-bought breads are made with yeast. Try to go toward a homemade sourdough bread that's made with a fermented sourdough starter. That will change your allergy levels completely. It will also help your gut health. I'm in the middle of pollen country here. This is a plush forest. Right now, all the leaves are popping out, all the pollen's popping out. We have a massive amount of pollen. And in the evening, when you get out under a street light, you can see it looks like a misty rain coming down because the pollen spores, they're releasing their pollen. The flowers and the blooms and the leaves are releasing their pollen mostly at night, right after the sun goes down. And when that happens, you'll see it blowing through the air, but you'll see it dropping as the humidity comes in at night, and it'll come down through those lights, and it looks like a misty rain coming down in front of the lights, and it's not rain, it's pollen. In the morning times, throughout the early mornings, you'll see your car getting completely dusted with pollen. Now remember, the pollen that you can see is not the pollen that bothers you. It's like when I dust this pollen off this tree and you can see it. That's not what bothers you. It's that pollen that's so small that you can't see it, that's what's bothering you. So keep in mind, there's a lot of things out there blooming, a lot of new growth, a lot of life taking place, and as it does, pollen is what causes it to reproduce and causes its replication of its environment. And it was here before me and you were here. So we have to learn how to live around it. We can. I believe our bodies are more natural than you can imagine, just like nature itself. So how do we sustain? We need to go back to nature as much as possible. So the more we embrace nature, the better we can adapt to nature. Be as natural as you possibly can be as organic as you possibly can be. I'll tell you what I do is I try to get away from certain things. Let me give you my list. There's certain things that I love and that I don't want to give up. Milk is one of them. I've heard a lot of people say that they're lactose intolerant. They have problems when they drink milk. I love milk. I drink milk all the time. But I find that I have more of those types of problems when I go to the store and buy regular milk. Regular milk that is pasteurized and homogenized is not as good for you as milk that is not homogenized. Now, yes, when you buy non-homogenized milk, it's going to have that cream that floats to the top that you have to shake up and mix back into the rest of the milk. But it's better for you, and it's going to be better for your gut health. It's going to be better for your allergies. It's just 100% better all the way around. It's more natural. Pasteurized is okay because it's just a heating process that helps reduce the bacteria that could be in the milk. That's fine. I would eat a lot of berries. Berries are very good for you because they're very high in polyphenols, high in antioxidants, high in health and nutrition, and that's something you should be taking in on a continuous basis. I try to eat nuts and berries every day. Every day. I'm not a vegetarian. I do eat meats and vegetables, and I try to eat clean as much as possible. If you're eating clean on a normal basis and then you find yourself not eating clean at one meal, you may sometimes even have to get up in the middle of that meal and go to the restroom because your body is not used to that after you've actually gotten to a place where your body has been accustomed to clean eating. So your body will tell you when you're eating something that is not good for you if you get to the point where your body is used to eating clean. Now, if your body is eating unclean all the time, then you can eat unclean any time of the day, any time of the week, and it probably won't tell you anything because your body is addicted to those unclean, chemical-infused products that you're eating from the store that are preservatives, processed foods. Stay away from processed foods. Stay away from processed sugars, especially. There's nothing wrong with sugars. A lot of good polysaccharides in so many different natural fruits and vegetables and berries, and also honey. But it's the processed sugars that get you in trouble. It's those that have been modified. Especially stay away from white bleached sugars. Stay away from those completely. They're definitely not good for you. And at the same time, it raises your risk for other problems such as diabetes. Now, hope this little, I'm not going to take all day and tell you all about this, but this weekend we've had, just went through Easter weekend. My garden is over this way. I have a large pasture area down here below us. My brother has brought his big motor coach in this weekend, and it's a mess down here right now because he came in at night. He missed his turn, and when he missed his turn, he went into an area and he jacked it up, and the pads that he jacked it up on went down into the soil, got it stuck. We spent this weekend digging him out, and so there's some areas down there on the lower field that we're going to be patching up, planting some new grass, and we're going to prepare him a place where he can bring his motor coach in and enjoy the weekend when he wants to, and that type of thing. And at the same time, we got a lot of cleaning up down here to do. There's a lot of old lumber from years back that we have to remove. We're going to be having a big bonfire here and a big party here at the Welch family homestead to celebrate the beginning of this new journey. I'm very excited about this journey. I'm very excited about what we're going to be doing here at the Welch family homestead with the different animals and the plants and fruit trees, gardens, berries. There's so many different things we're going to be doing here. It's just unreal. I mean, it's just amazing what we're going to be doing here. There's actually going to be a big barn being built right over in this area. And when we build that barn, it's going to be set up not only to handle things that we're going to be doing around here, but we're going to create the barn so that the center section of the barn is going to be a place where people can come to for workshops to learn about homesteading, to learn about the soil, to learn about the environment, to hear from voices and minds that have given their lives to this mission called homesteading. So we're going to have some of that here. We're also going to have some barn dances and some entertainment and some concerts and a lot of different things here. And so this is going to be a destination for people eventually to come to, enjoy, and to be excited about coming, because that's what we want here. That's what I intended this to be when I bought this property years ago, back in 2014, which is literally 8 years ago. I had a big bonfire party here for my birthday. I had my birthday down in New Zealand and had a bonfire on the beach, and people wanted to be part of it, but they couldn't because I was out of the country at the time. And so I put my first event on Facebook to have a bonfire when I got back from my trip. And I knew I was going to be in New Zealand and Australia, then Japan and Thailand and some of these different places. And it was going to be a very tiresome trip, but had a lot of friends that jumped in. They all helped me organize. We brought porta johns in, and we brought food in. We brought a lot of things together, and I appreciate the person that was my bank president at the time, and she just went over the extra mile to make sure that it was done right. And when I got here, I drove in after flying in from through Dubai, and when I arrived here at the property, I was astounded because I had no clue how many people was going to show up. It was just an event I put on Facebook, and I'd never done an event on Facebook before. But when I got here to the property, we called it Welch Mountain, and now we're calling it Welch Family Homestead. And when I got here, all the pasture areas, all this open areas that we have here, I've got 50 something acres, but about 11 acres of it's grass and cut fields, and And we call it pasture now, but it looked like Woodstock. There were tents everywhere. There were little campfires everywhere. There were some of the most beautiful, wonderful, kind-hearted people here just to enjoy a fun time. We had people coming in from thousands of miles away and to enjoy we called it Jeff's bonfire and picnic party. And we had a large bonfire. And that was, this next one that we do like that is gonna be even bigger, and it's gonna be even more spectacular because we're just gonna have a blast. And anyway, we'll talk about that when it comes closer to that moment. But I wanted to talk to you about the pollen, right? And pollen is something you're gonna be dealing with if you're gonna be an outdoors person. And I'm an outdoors person. I literally do not go inside all day long unless I have something I have to do inside. I'll pull my computer out if it's a beautiful day. I'll sit at a table outside and I'll work. I am still the CEO of a company. I'm still working all the time, running my farm here and also running my business that's global, and constantly I'm outside. If I can be outside, even if it's raining and if I have a porch roof to sit under, I'm going to be outside because I love the outdoors. So in me having an allergy problem, I've done everything possible to try to conquer that. Do I still suffer from allergies? Sure, not as bad though, because I found that the more that I do not try to resist it, the more I try to stay in the environment, the better it gets every year. And at the same time, the more I stay natural, I found that when COVID hit, actually, this was when the craziest thing happened. Back in the beginning of 2020, I started cooking sourdough bread. It was kind of a kick that everybody was getting into. I knew I loved sourdough bread, but I got away from typical wheat bread or breads that had instant active dry yeast in it, baker's yeast, that was being used for massive production of bread. So the bread that was being sold on the shelf at the grocery stores, when I switched from that 100% and went to sourdough starter, I mean, it didn't matter if I was cooking pancakes, cooking muffins, it didn't matter what I was cooking. I got away from all self-rising flours. I got away from all instant dry yeast. I like to cook myself, and I enjoy good food. I've had food from all over the world, and I tell you, I just love food. And one of the things that I love is bread. I'm a bread eater. I wanted bread. But I got to the point, it didn't matter if I was cooking brownies, it didn't matter what I was cooking, no white sugars and no instant dry active yeast. When I got away from those two things, my allergy levels went completely down to the bottom, and I suffer minimally compared to what I've ever suffered in my life from allergies. And then when I also take good vitamin C's, vitamin D's, vitamin B's, zinc, quercetin, all the good stuff that builds your immune system on a continuous basis as well. Take in a lot of berries, a lot of polyphenols, a lot of antioxidants, the things that really matter, the natural ingredients that are in all the fruits and berries that we eat on a continuous basis, with a lot of greens. I find that my allergy levels go down to a manageable level. That is important. So I'm sharing that advice and that my experience with you. Hope it helps you just a little bit. And I do believe, it's like in the Bible, it says that every herb, every plant on earth is here for a reason. It's here for a purpose. And we have to remember that God did create this place we are living on. And he didn't necessarily create us to be exposed to man-made chemicals every day in our foods, which we call preservatives. And here at Welch Family Homestead, obviously, we're so focused on preserving things in mason jars, right? Or preserving them naturally. And if we preserve things naturally and we eat things from a natural source, and we know what we fed that creature if we're eating meat, or we know what we put in that ground if we're eating a vegetable, we're keeping it organic. We're not putting those chemicals in. So therefore, those plants or those animals are not absorbing those chemicals, and it's not going into our bodies. We're going to have a much better health for ourselves. This environment is going to have a much better life as well. You only have one body. Treat it right, care for it. Those of you that's out there, you're planting your plants, whatever, and you're caring for that plant, you're doing everything you possibly can to make that plant live and thrive. Why not do your body the same way? You're taking care of your pets. Why not do your body the same way? Why not treat your pets the same way and feed them as much natural food as possible as well? Maybe they'll be healthier also and live longer, and to be there for you to care about for much longer too. So anyway, this is my challenge for all of us. I'm just rambling here, but I drove through here yesterday with a farm tractor. I hit this bush and it was like a cloud coming off this pine, a cloud of pollen. But it was just a dust cloud of pollen come off of this when I hit it yesterday. And I can guarantee you that there were trees here that if I would have shook them, it would look like a cloud going all the way across the valley of pollen. But again, that pollen is not what causes you your allergy issues. It's the pollen that you can't see that causes your issues, not the pollen you can see. Thank you for taking your time to listen to me here at Welch Family Homestead.